We've taken clients from 0 to hundreds of thousands of impressions on LinkedIn, not once, repeatedly. Founders nobody had heard of, executives with under 500 followers, people who'd been posting for months with nothing to show for it. And almost every time, it wasn't better writing that changed things. It was the post type. There are 4 specific formats that consistently break through on LinkedIn, even when nobody knows your name yet. We've tested these across dozens of clients, tracked the data, and watched them work in every niche from B2B SaaS to agency services to executive personal brands. This video is the breakdown, what each format is, how it works mechanically, and the exact results we've seen. The reason most LinkedIn posts don't travel is not because they're badly written. It's because they only appeal to a tiny slice of the audience. You write about your niche expertise, the 200 people who already follow you and care about that exact topic see it, maybe 15 of them engage. And the algorithm looks at this and thinks, this isn't resonating broadly enough to push further. So the post dies. The posts that break through do something different. They tap into topics, names, and conversations that a much wider audience within your niche already cares about. When more people read on, more people engage, and when more people engage, the algorithm pushes it harder. And that's what these 4 formats do. They make your content appeal to the widest possible audience inside your niche, not just the people you already know. You're not waiting for people to find you. You're walking into conversations they are already having. Format number 1, brandjacking. Brandjacking is when you take a decision a well-known brand made, a campaign, a product, a launch, a mistake, a pivot, and you use it as the frame for your own insight. You are not reporting on the brand. You are not summarizing what happened. You are borrowing the name recognition they already have and redirecting it toward your area of expertise. The mechanism is simple. When someone sees Heinz or Apple or Nike in a headline, they already have a reaction before they read a single word. You are capturing that reaction and steering it. One of our clients used Heinz dropping their logo from billboards and still having 70% brand recognition without it, to make a point about creative consistency versus testing velocity in paid social. 9,000 impressions, 193 reactions, 33 saves. Another used Liquid Death. Their post broke down how Liquid Death's creative team generates billions in earned media without a traditional ad budget. But the more interesting thing that happened is that the VP of creative at Liquid Death showed up in the comments and corrected a detail. That comment alone got 190 likes. That's what I call the Boomerang Effect. You throw attention at a brand, you write something sharp about their decision, and when the subject of your post notices and engages, the algorithm reads that as a signal that something real is happening, and it pushes it harder. The distribution compounds. The attention you gave out comes right back. You don't need to be famous to get in front of VP's audience. You just need to write something worth their time. The rule for making brandjacking work: your insight has to be genuinely yours. You are not summarizing the brand story. You are using their story as evidence for a point only you would make. Format number 2, newsjacking. Newsjacking is being the first credible voice to contextualize something significant happening in your industry. Not summarize it, contextualize it. Now, one thing to know, LinkedIn is always behind. By the time something trends on LinkedIn, it already happened somewhere else 2 days ago or a week ago. So where do you actually find the news before it hits LinkedIn? A few places. Search, just Google the trends in your space daily. Chat with LLMs. Ask ChatGPT or Claude what's happening in your industry this week. You'd be surprised how fast that surfaces things. X is the big one. X is always ahead. It's where the early conversations happen, where the outliers post first. If you are not scanning X for what's about to blow up on LinkedIn, you are always going to be late. And then there's automation. You can build flows with tools like OpenClaw that pull breaking stories and surface them before anyone else has posted about them on LinkedIn. And that's actually what I'm walking through in the next video, step by step. So subscribe so you don't miss that one. Anyone can share the news. What your audience actually needs is someone who understands what it means, what the downstream effects are, why the obvious interpretation might be wrong, what this changes. Timing is the variable that determines whether newsjacking works or doesn't. The algorithm pushes posts that enter a conversation while it's still moving. A shark take within 24 to 48 hours is going to get distributed significantly harder than the same post published 4 days later. A reminder here, LinkedIn is always late, so you have a huge advantage in front of you. One of our clients covered the revelation that ChatGPT pulls directly from Google search and what that means for SEO strategy. 293 comments, 234 reposts, 208,000 impressions. Another wrote about Bing launching an AI performance dashboard and then connected it to the search visibility for B2B companies. 70 reposts, 40,563 impressions. All three hit because they were early and they had an actual point of view. It's not a summary, it's a position. The test for whether your newsjacking post is ready, can you answer, "So what?" in one sentence? If not, you are still summarizing. Keep going until you can. These first two formats work by borrowing the attention of brands and events, but the next two are different. These work by borrowing the attention of people, and the data on one of them is almost hard to believe. Format number 3, namejacking. Namejacking is referencing a specific person your audience already follows to stop the scroll, then delivering a perspective that is entirely your own. It works on the same principle as brandjacking. The name is a pattern interrupt your audience has built in reaction to certain people. When they see that name in a headline, they stop. But namejacking is more precise than brandjacking because the person you reference usually shares your target audience. Their followers are already your ICP. One of our clients referenced Satya Nadella's decision to replace know-it-all culture with learn-it-all culture at Microsoft and connected it to hiring philosophy in growth stage companies. 23,000 impressions. Another referenced Mira Murati turning down $1 billion acquisition from Zuckerberg and used it to talk about what actually loyalty inside organization looks like right now. 11,934 impressions. Another posted about Stephen Bartlett and connected the lesson to his business model. Bartlett himself commented on it. 147,000 impressions. When you reference the right person with genuine insight, sometimes that person notices. And when they engage with your content, their entire audience sees it. That's distribution you can't buy and can't manufacture. The rule for namejacking, you need a real perspective, like all of them, not just a summary of what they said. You're adding something, you're agreeing with nuance, you're respectfully pushing back, you're building on it. The moment you are just repeating what they said, you've lost the point. Format number 4. Hot takes. A hot take is a contrarian position on something your entire industry accepts as true, not being provocative for its own sake, not controversy for clicks, a genuinely held belief that challenges the consensus in a way that forces people to pick a side, either yours or the contrary. These work because of a simple psychological mechanic. When someone reads a strong contrarian claim, their brain immediately checks it against what they already believe. They agree or they don't. Because either way, they're still going to engage. One of our clients posted a direct claim. Original research is outranking AI-written content. Not by a little, by a lot. And that gap is widening. 390 comments, 300 reposts, 3,198 likes. Another posted that ChatGPT sold its soul the moment it started testing ads and broke down exactly what that means for how people will start treating AI-generated answers. 137 comments, 72,000 impressions, and still climbing days later. Both posts worked because they stated a clear position, not "it depends," not "here are both sides," a claim. ones that people had strong opinions and they had to respond to. The test for a real hot take: does it make you slightly nervous to post? If you could post it without any anxiety, it's probably not contrarian enough to move people. 4 formats, 4 different mechanisms, but they all share one underlying logic. And understanding that logic is what lets you use them consistently instead of getting lucky once. Every post has a job, and the job of these 4 formats is reach. New people, new audiences, and they happen to be very good at their job. All 4 formats do the same thing. They attach your expertise to something that already has an audience paying attention to it. You're not trying to create attention from scratch. You are redirecting attention that already exists. This is the difference between standing in an empty room hoping someone walks by versus walking into a room that's already full. These formats fall into what we call the growth content bucket. They're not your everyday posts. They are the ones designed specifically to bring in new people. Aim for 1 to 2 of these per week. Mix them in with your regular authority content. That ratio keeps your profile balanced between reaching new audiences and deepening trust with the people already following you. I explain the full content mix in my video, How to Grow on LinkedIn in 2026. The other thing these formats do that standard posts don't, they give you something to write about when you're not sure what to say. You don't have to wait for inspiration. You check the news. You look at what the brands in your niche are doing. You pay attention to what the people your audience follows are saying. The content is already out there. You just have to have a real point of view on it. 4 formats: brandjacking, newsjacking, namejacking, hot takes. Pick one this week. Find one brand, one news story, one person, or one belief in your industry worth challenging. Write the post. If you want to see how we build this into a full content system for B2B companies, that's what These Think Duet does. Links in the description. And if this was useful, subscribe. Every week, I'm breaking down what's actually working for B2B brands on LinkedIn right now. See you in the next one.